Hi, I'm Erika L. Sherman, and I was just interviewed by Keith Andrew for Keith Andrew Network, and he did a terrific job in our interview. And I definitely say you should give it a try and you should do an interview. Thanks so much.
This is episode 71 of season 12. That's right, season 12, episode 71. I'm here as a great guest, the beautiful and talented Miss Erika. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Keith. Thanks for having me on your show.
The honor's all mine. For people who want to know, you already introduced yourself in the beginning of the show. But for me, if the name is easy to pronounce, that's why I will do my best to introduce our guests. But if it's like a hard name, I'm like, it's more of a distraction. But it is something I am working on. With that being said, it is a privilege to have you here with us. So the first question I'm going to ask you is called Icebreakers. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Erika L. Sherman, and I'm based out of Philadelphia, and I'm a non-union actress. I also am a writer. I write screenplays. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Oh, no, you can tell us anything you like. But with that being said, let me go to the next question. What attracted you to begin your career as an upcoming professional actress?
So for me, I was originally a screenwriter and I still am a screenwriter, and I just wanted to explore and dive deeper into writing my characters in my screenplays. So I started taking acting classes, and it really helped me with my screenwriting, taking the acting classes so I could dive deeper into the character arcs of my characters, so I could write better characters, basically. But then also kind of getting into acting and learning that part of film was very important as a screenwriter. So that's what I really enjoy, and that's what I do now. I do acting and screenwriting.
Perfect. So we're going to talk about acting and screenwriting. I do have two great subjects for you. So the
Mhm.
next question I want to talk to you about is what is the biggest change you want to make in your acting and screenwriting career?
So one of the biggest changes I'd like to make is I would like to go from being, I guess, we want to start campaigning for the screenplays that we have, and we do proof of concepts for our films. So we'd like to start campaigning so we can make money so that we could produce our films professionally. That's the biggest change I'd like to make for screenwriting. As far as acting goes, I would like to get to the point where eventually we can campaign, because most of the work that we do, or the work that I do, it's actually my screenplay, and then I act as one of the characters in it. So yeah, this campaigning is a big part of, independent filmmaking. So you can, make money to use that towards your like resources, to, get a director, to pay your director of photography, pay your screenwriter, pay all your actors, pay your production assistants, stuff like that. So I'm really, the biggest change I want to make is campaigning for each and every single films that we do in the future.
No, absolutely. Now, the next one I want to talk to you about when you were
Mhm.
in college, what did you major in? And did you do any sports growing up?
So my major in college was actually social work. And for sports, wasn't really a big sports person. I used to love running though. But my knees aren't too good anymore. So
For me, I was never a big runner. I hated doing track and field. For me, after seeing Jungle Book where the elephants are marching and then they crash into each other and pile up, it's like, it would be fun to watch if you're on a track and field team, but I never wanted to be the one responsible for all the mayhem.
Right.
Um, yeah, that's what's one of the reasons. And the other one is I'm not really a big runner. I enjoy just walking at a good pace, but I never feel like I don't like working under pressure, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, was there any sports? I know you said you weren't into the whole sport thing, but if you had to pick one or two sports to really go back and try, was there any that interest you?
Maybe if I went back in time, maybe I would play soccer, or maybe I would have done cheerleading, or, maybe I would have pursued dance. I think those would have been the three that I probably would have went for.
All right. So the next one I want to talk to you about is the COVID. How has COVID impacted your life? And do you see life in a different point of view?
It's a good question, Keith. So for me, since COVID happened, so before COVID, I used to travel all the time for work. And then after COVID, I worked from home and I've worked from remote ever since then. So COVID did impact my life pretty majorly, but I would say I really enjoy my life now because I get to work from home. And I mean, I'm very, very grateful that I get to work from home because there's a lot of benefits not having to go into an office. I actually work better at home. There's no distractions at all. So I think I actually work harder being at home. So, but I do understand like a lot of people were impacted by COVID in negative ways. I did lose a friend to COVID. He was only 30 years old. His name was Jimmy. Um, and I know a lot of my friends lost family members, and my heart goes out to anybody that lost someone to COVID. But COVID was pretty impactful to many people, so including myself.
Well, during that time, had you had time to reflect your acting career and screenwriting career?
So that is a good question, Keith. So during COVID, that's actually when I realized I wanted to learn who my people were and who my community of people was going to be. And I started taking the acting lessons because I really wanted to understand the characters that I was writing about and the character arcs, and I really wanted to dive deeper into it. I started taking classes at John Pilato Studio in Philadelphia, and I absolutely loved it. And, now I have a really great friend, Rochelle, that I met through the acting studio, and Dana Ann that I met through the acting studio. And I have so many new friends that I've actually met through that acting studio. Um, so, I mean, in a way, like, because it was during the time of COVID, it was a blessing in disguise for me because I got to slow down and I actually got to do things I wanted to do because I wasn't traveling anymore.
No, I agree. A lot of people said, but one thing I do want to say, we on the Keith Andrew Network do recommend people get vaccinated, get your flu shots. It's always good to be prepared. Now, just
Hmm.
because you get the flu shot and a COVID shot does not mean you're never going to get sick. However, it's going to cut your risk in half. So,
Right.
unless you want to be hooked up to a ventilator, you know, get your crap together. So that's the one. And I got my shot 2 weeks ago. I got a COVID shot, and at the end of October, I actually got my booster shot. So, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too, and there's no reason why you can't.
Totally understood.
Now we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about your writing career. We're back from the commercial break. It's Saturday night. You know what that means? If you're a fan of Bill Maher and HBO, go to HBO Max and watch Real Time with Bill Maher. Great show. He's fantastic, sarcastic, sometimes can be an ass, but it is really entertaining. So make sure to check out Real Time with Bill Maher. The next one I'll talk to you about is what is the most difficult thing about being a screenwriter?
Oh, the most difficult thing about being a screenwriter for me, I would say, is you constantly have to do rewrites. You constantly have to correct your screenplay, especially if the information doesn't make sense. Your characters don't make sense. Your plot doesn't make sense. The locations that you have in your screenplay don't make sense. So basically, you have to go off of resources. And for me, I'm typically converting screenplays to film very quickly as soon as we go into production. So I typically write about 2 minute screenplays that we film. So they're about 2 pages long, and then we film them. So they're roughly about 2 minute films when we're done. But just being able to adapt to the environment that we're filming in, being able to understand that when you go from the screenplay to the film, there's going to be some differences. Not everything is going to go as planned. And just being very flexible and just ready for any changes to come your way. And, you know, always to be calm when you're on movie sets. Just, you can always go back to the screenplay and change things, after we've done like the film part of it, because sometimes actors don't say the same exact dialogue that you wrote, and sometimes like things just little things just change from the screenplay to when it goes on set or on film.
Next one I want to talk to you about. What is one of your favorite music bands, and do they help you? Like when you write, do you need the room to be dead silence, or is there a band that you listen to, or a song? Because that is also a good segue. Song of the day. Let me ask you about your favorite band. Is there a band that you have to listen to help you write? And what is your favorite song of the day?
Oh, I don't. So I really love all genres of music, and I also have so many different bands that I listen to all the time. I don't know if I have like a favorite, but I would say like the maybe my top two bands are Nine Inch Nails, Smashing Pumpkins. Um, I love the song Closer by Nine Inch Nails, and Smashing Pumpkins. I love their song 1979. I guess those are my two favorite songs. My top two. I can't choose between the two of them. They're just slightly different genres, but those are my top two songs. Sometimes I don't listen to them before I write though. Like when I'm writing, it's weird. I like to write in silence. So, or I'm writing with another filmmaker. We write together typically.
All right. For me, like if I use the exercise, something I have to do, I have to motivate myself to use the exercise bike again. Or if I just want to listen to something that gets me upbeat, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. So I like
Oh, cool.
listen. Are you a fan of Dragon Ball?
Yeah, when I was a child, I would watch that, but it's a cool show. Who's your favorite character?
Well, it's funny. You're gonna think I'm a loser, but and it doesn't make a difference. I hold Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball will always have a special place in my heart. I actually, in my dream, instead of having nightmares, I'm like, well, if I need a secret place, or if there's a place where I can go and just express myself and
Hmm.
feel safe, I created a second family. So where Dragon Ball fits into that actually is Bulma's my mom, Vegeta's my dad, Goku is my master slash uncle, and it's like a second family to me. It's funny enough, I actually interviewed a couple of Dragon Ball actors. They're all available on the bottom of the screen. Go to youtube.com, KeithAndrewNetWork. You can watch all the great episodes. But I interviewed the voice of Majin Buu and Android 17 and Pan, a Kid Goku. There's so many great people that I interviewed. So I love Dragon Ball. One thing I would change, looking back, I'm like, I was 5 or 6, so I mean, it wasn't really a big deal. But if I could change it, I was obsessed with Power Rangers. So
Oh, that's so
looking,
cool.
But now, after talking to some actors in Power Rangers, it's kind of like, these people suck.
Oh,
But there's some who are really nice. But, it's a long story about that. Then now it's kind of like, well, I like Dragon Ball, and so far I haven't had a bad experience with it. And I feel more strongly, more passionate about Dragon Ball. So I was more into Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid instead of Power Rangers. Power Rangers is good, but in hindsight, it really wasn't that great. It was because if you watch behind, let me ask you, because you were a screenwriter and actor, do you watch any behind the scenes?
mhm, all the time. Mhm.
Do you think that ruins the show?
No, for me, I love it because you learn so much from behind the scenes, you're learning all the secrets of, filmmaking and what they do and costumes, makeup. You learn a lot about the actors and you see them behind the scenes. I mean, it's really cool to watch behind the scenes. It's very valuable to actually to watch it.
No, no. Some of them are really good, and some of them are like I kind of wish I didn't know about.
Mm,
I'll give you an example. I had a crush on Elizabeth Montgomery, and then I got a crush on Trish Stratus. Maybe I like blondes. I don't know. But anyway, I'm speaking out of my ass. Don't mind me. But the thing I didn't realize about Elizabeth Montgomery, well, her husband, I almost said Daryl. I can't think of her husband for some reason. Darren. What I was thinking about Darren because there's two actors who played Darren in season one. Um, Forgot his name, but later on they replaced him with someone else. I didn't know he hurt his back and he was addicted to a drug, opioids or something. Um, the mother helped him off the screen, get his act together, but that said the guy who replaced him later on in like season two, season three, was originally supposed to be Darren from the very start. But because they liked the guy who was Darren the first, they picked
hmm
him, and later on when he had his episodes. Pretty much long story short, he took a lot of drugs. They didn't know what he was going to be like when he was doing his acts. So Elizabeth Montgomery and the mother, they would do their screens together, or they would be by themselves. And then later on, Darren would do his lines when they just add them in and out. Again, what's behind the scenes, it's kind of like I really don't need to know these guys have their problems or it kind of ruins it, but it depends. Sometimes behind the scenes, it's really interesting. Not to go on that real tangent, I do apologize.
Oh, it's cool to learn, about what you like and don't like. That's neat.
No, I agree. Now I want you to be brutally honest, wrapping up the show. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, when you got that email and opened it, what was your first reaction and what made you say yes?
So I went through and I looked through your profile and I looked at some of your other interviews and I was really excited and honored that I received that from you. And I'm happy to be on the show and learn a lot about you today. And, I was very excited when I first opened up the email and I appreciate that you let me be on your show.
No, absolutely. And I just want to say for our viewers out there, I do have an IMD and I have filter glasses. The reason I have filter glasses is I'm staring directly at you, not to be creepy, but I do have my right eye on the camera. So the camera's here and I'm looking here. So instead of looking like Mr. Magoo, I instead of when I like get here, I hide my eyes. And also I blink too much when I speak. That's why I wear filter glasses. Plus they look nice. But anyway, the reason I have INDB, I don't know how I don't use it. I don't know how people give themselves credit, but if you're able to give yourself credit for being on the Keith Andrew Network, you have my permission. Don't ask me to give you credit because I have no idea how that website works. I really don't want to know how it works. Eventually, maybe I will. But anyway, a lot of people are like, "Oh, if I'm on your show, you're gonna give me IMDb credit, right?" I don't know how that site even freaking works. Plus, you have to pay for it too. And I'm in debt already. I'm not doing any more, trying to pay off a credit card bill. But anyway, if you can figure it out, more power to you. But I don't know anything about IMDb. Anyway, my next question to you is, how do you feel now after being a guest on my talk show? And would you recommend it to other people who are hesitant?
I would say go ahead and be on your talk show. I appreciate your time and thanks for setting this up.
No, I appreciate it. Now, our goal is to reach 500 to more view, 500 to 1,000 views. I do want to take this time to invite you on December 14th. That's right. December 14th will be a Christmas holiday episode. I would love to have you part of it. The whole month of December is a Christmas theme. It's really wonderful. But I know you're short on time, but thank you for being a guest on my talk show. And let me say one thing for our viewers out there. By being a guest on my talk show, you're supporting a host with a disability. At the same time, my job is to give you an open format to talk about your life, your career, and anything you're passionate about. So by helping me, I'm helping you. It isn't one-sided. I'm not taking advantage of our guests. By help, it's a transaction. And when I said to you off the air, I extend my hand to you in friendship, I swear to God in my life, I meant that. That's not a catchphrase. That isn't a slogan because life is too short. It's about meeting new people and making a difference in people's lives. So I just wanted to be upfront with you about that.
Oh, I
Sorry.
appreciate that. That was awesome.
No, not to interrupt, I do apologize. It's a long story, but someone called me out on it, so I'm gonna throw it back and say I'm a better person. But you can't please everyone, and if you're not making, a wise man once said, if you're not making enemies, then you're not being successful in life. Not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But this will be shared on all social medias on the bottom of the screen. It's our information on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So make sure to click all three. And until we meet again, I catch you later. Thank you, and have a good night.
On my show, it's supporting me. My message is all that